This is season 3, episode 6, I believe, where you're joined by James Flockhart, who's got a story to tell.
Yes.
how are
I have
you
a story to tell.
What's
So
going
do
on?
you want me to start, or do you guys want to ask questions first?
We got some questions to kick things
Why
off.
That's the first question.
Yeah, so I guess first of all, just explain to us. I mean, obviously, you've been on the podcast, I think, once before. Your picture's gone, but what? Oh, you're back. You've been on the podcast once before. I think it was like a pre-meet thing, but yeah. So just talk to us a little bit how this year has gone for you. What are you doing right now? How the past senior year go?
Yeah, sorry if my picture goes away real quick. Yeah, sorry. So I actually ended up basically quitting the track team. Like, I think it's at this point, it's like a month and a half ago, I think, is when I left the track team. So I basically left the track team to focus on lifting, because previously I'd been trying to lift at my home gym and right after practice, and it didn't feel like I was getting like enough of it. Like, I wasn't able to lift enough because I was so tired from practice, and I had been doing so many other things, and I was thinking about maturity and like how I wanted to go into my college years. And although I loved track so much and it brought me so much happiness, I had to make a decision between what I thought would bring me more happiness. And at that point, running was not bringing me enough happiness in comparison to lifting. So in choosing, I ended up choosing lifting, even though I'm not a huge guy or anything. It just made me feel better. Like, it was just a different thing I hadn't done a lot before, but now I find I'm more happy doing that than I was running.
Okay. And this is actually a question from Jonah. I know he's not here right now, but he wanted me and Aranio to ask it.
Yeah.
What gap in your life is lifting filling that running wasn't? Is it just the happiness?
So I've had a little bit of I wouldn't say it's any like I didn't like how my body was looking. And although that can be like perceived as like negative, like, oh, you just shouldn't worry about that, I saw lifting as like a way to like sculpt myself. And I have the idea. Sorry. All right. I have the idea that when I now that I'm in my prime, like 24 is more like the age where you're in your like prime, like your peak physical prime, right? Like when you're in your like early 20s. But right now I feel like I want to build up to that, and I have an idea that I want to get myself in peak physical condition. Like, I know running can bring you there, but I want to be like have every aspect, and I think I'll eventually bring running back in. But right now I wanted to build mass, and just like, so when I'm at that age, I already have like a foundation to build on.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, so you kind of want to get bigger.
Yeah, basically that's it. I just want to fill out a t-shirt, to be completely honest.
Okay, yeah. And what you said that, people shouldn't like lift because they don't like the way they look, like they think they're too skinny or whatever. You said you thought that was a bad reason a second ago, right?
I said, though, like, sometimes it can be perceived as bad. For me, it's been a motivator more because I want to see myself in like, it's not that I don't like my body now. I think I can like elevate myself with lifting and make me love myself even more, like not in like a narcissistic way or anything.
No,
just
yeah.
like bring me more happiness.
Yeah, no, I think basically what I was gonna say is that aspect, I think, is not a negative thing at all.
Yeah.
And the aesthetic, or even just the confidence you can get from that, I think it can go a long way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I see a decent amount, like not a decent amount, but there's a couple of runners that many times, because they're so used to being so skinny and so they're fast, but they kind of have this other aspect of like that they want to build on. So many times you see like runners, you see like these soccer players, but and you see this with football players too, but like they've been lifting, but now you're seeing other athletes who might not necessarily need to lift for their sport switching to lifting to elevate another part of like their athletic I don't know, their athletic path. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's like the right phrase for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
So wait, I just have a question. So like what aspect of lifting fulfills like what aspect of lifting like fills the void of like kind of losing like running every day with your friends after practice? Like I'm not
Um
criticizing the choice. It's just
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
have you met friends through lifting? Like is it similar to like do you have like
Yes.
practices every day with people? Yeah.
Well,
So-
it's the same people, and sometimes it's different people because sometimes they go at different times. So you want to meet new people, you want to see new people.
Mhm.
I felt like running, like that was the one part that I had a very hard time leaving.
oh, you froze, Flockhart.
I'll be
Yeah.
living think maybe just that I froze.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fine,
sorry.
man.
Can you just say that again?
Yeah, we can continue. Is that fine? Is it
You're
fine?
good
Can I
now. Yeah.
continue?
Yeah. You're good.
It's
All
good
right.
now, yeah.
So that was a big part of why I didn't want to quit at the moment. But that part slowly, I was like, if I'm doing this for like other people and not for like how it makes me feel, because I of course I like hanging out with my friends. I've been with these people, they felt like family to me, but I thought about like this. I mean, I'm going to college. I'm going to be leaving my house soon. I mean, soon relatively, but I thought maybe it was my time, like though it was early, maybe it was my time to leave the sport. And it felt like it's hard to leave your house and go to college. And it was hard to leave track and go to lifting, but you know in your head that you really have to do it if you want to progress. And that's what it felt like to me. And that's when I knew I had to do it because it felt so like it felt like the right thing to do. And it wasn't like an impulse decision. I made sure that that was the thing I wanted to do. And now I take it very seriously. I make sure I am eating enough. I'm lifting high volume, you know, lower weight, not very low weight, but like that. I'm trying to like do everything correctly the same way I was doing running because I don't want it to become like lifting is like lower, like I'm putting in less effort in lifting than I was in running. So it's still bringing me the happiness because I'm still putting in the effort and I still feel like the outcomes that I was feeling from.
So you never stopped working out. You just switched the kind of working out you were doing.
Yeah. And that's like, cause that's a big thing with a lot of people switching, like even like people listening, like if you're thinking about switching your sport or just switching to lifting or switching to even like CrossFit, whatever, cycling, whatever you like, you have to make sure that you're going to be putting in the same effort or you're not going to feel the same result. Because I feel like if you switch, you want to make sure you're switching not to do something easier in your head. Because lifting can seem easier than running because like right after a workout you're done, you're laying on the ground, but you have to push yourself to the point where running and lifting for me, like mentally, I had to push myself very hard in lifting. So I feel the success I feel in running. But to me, that euphoria that you feel when you push yourself felt much greater when lifting than when running. Nothing bad to running because people might have a totally different opinion. It's all like your body, like, and it's all personal, like personal.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
I think that's physiological too. Like I think most people would agree with you that it feels that way. Like for me, like that's what like the alluring thing about lifting is that you do get that kind of boost a little bit more than running. Like when you're running every day, you know, for 5 years in a row, you're kind of tired of it. You know, you after a 6 mile run, you might just be like, I feel like shit, you know, like, and that's it.
Yeah.
But like lifting is just, it's a whole different world, and it's also kind of less, it's kind of more explosive movement and not as hard cardiovascularly. I'm saying
And
that
it's
wrong.
less, it's though at the moment it feels like, because it's explosive, it's high weight, it feels like
Yeah, it's
morning.
like
For certain people, and there's people who are fine, like barely get injured, but I was getting injured a lot in track, and it almost felt like, do I want to push through this and keep getting, and like I was even thinking like, do I want to get healthy and then run again? And in my head I was like, no, I don't want to I don't want to go run again. So then I was like, so what am I doing? And I
Yeah.
obviously recovered, but I was like, if I don't, I'm recovering to go on the track team, but if I don't want to run, then I should be recovering on my own and make sure I'm healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. Just to add to that a little bit, I mean, I think doing what you did takes a lot of courage because, like you said, you're leaving that family dynamic. You're especially with, I mean, me and this might be biased, but especially with the Ward Melville team, I feel like there was such a family dynamic. At least when I was there, to leave that behind, it's a stressful decision. And personally, one thing I've always
Yeah.
regretted is not trying swimming during high school. But I mean, I wouldn't have done anything any other way. But it's just to further talk about that point that switching that sport, once you're so embedded in the sport, is a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. I mean, obviously I cried after I quit the team. Like, I'm fine with being open with that. Like, I was sad, but there's a difference between, I wasn't sad because I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done it. I was sad because I knew I was leaving them, and I knew that I wasn't gonna come back and run for them again. And
Yeah.
that's sadder, in my opinion, than being like, oh, I shouldn't have done it. I gotta go back.
Yeah, I mean, you're going through a lot of end of an eras right now. You know what I mean? With senior year and also leaving the team.
Yeah, and I still see my teammates in school. I mean, I wish them the best. I still ask them. I mean, I plan on going to more meets. It's hard because my schedule, I'm trying to like work my schedule around, like my work schedule around going to like a track meet, but I still plan on attending track meets because you don't want to lose that family connection. But when you're done, like, you want to have your friends. Like, you don't want to quit this, you don't want to like quit the or switch the sport and then lose your friends, because track was a common interest, but it never was. I wouldn't say it wasn't the foundation, but like our friendships have gone like past that.
Yeah.
Almost like I see us being friends in touch, college and such. Like you guys do, like we've seen you guys do. You guys still keep in touch. Like, you see that even though you're not on the same track team, you guys still are talking consistently. I mean, you guys have this podcast, which is makes it even easier to connect. But
Yeah.
even without the track team, though it created that connection, you still have that connection now.
Yeah. 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 No, that's a really good point.
I could definitely empathize with like, because like during like my first semester, I was going through a similar thing. I ended up taking the opposite route, and I'm still running, but I wanted to get into lifting too. But for me, I always felt like, I don't know, like, even though like I don't think I can get past the fact that like no matter how good of friends like me and Anthony and Jonah are, running was the thing keeping us together. Like, and that was one of the main decisions. Like, that was one of the main like factors in my choice. But I guess like, how do you feel that like your situation is different, or like, do you think we just see it a different way? Because it's probably the case.
So I mean, I kind of like that. I didn't like, because like there's like a lot of I didn't like being so competitive with
Mhm.
my own friends. And I know that's track, but I'm not a very competitive person. Like, I would run my times for myself. And I actually haven't thought about times in like probably since like 2021. I haven't really thought about times that much. But like, I didn't like that competitive nature with my friends. And now that I have that like a little bit of separation, it feels like I've almost gotten closer with some of my friends in a way, because
Okay.
you kind of strengthen connection because you're not seeing each other every day. So when you see each other, I feel like when I see like my friends in school, like I value the time so much more,
Yeah.
in my
Okay, that
opinion.
makes
But
sense.
that's not the
Yeah.
same for everyone.
Yeah, okay, because I'm the exact opposite. I found that competition drove me closer, but I'm sure Anthony probably felt the same. Seems like that kind of person, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
it's all
So
personality. Like friendships are
yeah,
totally different.
Yeah, and I
that's
think
a good insight.
what's so special about that is, how you guys were just saying, there's not one way to view it. You know what I mean? Like, and even I guess it could probably change sport to sport. Like lifting, it's obviously you against the weights. Running ultimately
Yeah.
is you against the clock. But more or less, you're not doing it alone. You know what I mean? If you're lifting for a PR, I mean, maybe, I don't know, who knows if it's in a competition or not. I don't know too much about that kind of stuff, but I'd assume that you're competing against other people. Um, if
So with
you,
yeah, that would be like powerlifting.
Mhm.
Obviously, you already know about that.
Yeah.
But powerlifting, I'm not more into that because I don't know. I just want to like build myself. I don't know if I necessarily want to be
You froze again.
bodybuilder in the future, want to mass, and that's why I like it. So for myself,
Okay,
it's
yeah,
just refreshing in a
yeah.
way. And I
Actually,
know
no,
running can be. I'm not saying running can't be for yourself, but for me, it wasn't. It didn't feel like that anymore.
yeah, no,
And
no,
that's
no,
That
the
no.
makes sense.
whole like conversation that it's like because other people doesn't feel that way, don't feel that way, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't feel that way. So if you like choose running over lifting or choose lifting over running or any other situation where you're choosing a sport over another sport, you stick with the sport or you choose the other sport, it's all you. You can't base it off of what you think other people think. You have to base it off of what is the best for you. And that's probably my best advice.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You kind of have to follow deep down. Like, I was actually thinking about this the other night. You don't follow your head, okay? Because
Yeah.
if you follow your head,
You gotta follow your heart.
yeah, you got to follow your heart or really your gut. Like what is your gut telling you
Yeah.
that what's that deep down gut feeling that your head can ignore.
You got to ask the question. You're gonna be like, what do I want to do? And then the first thing that pops up, that's the thing you're gonna pick. Because I promise you, both won't come out. And I was like, what do I want to do? Lifting came up in my head. I was like, what do I want to do in the future? And I was like, lifting. And I was like, oh, lifting.
Yeah,
Like that's when it became real. That's when I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's what I want to do. And no matter what you're thinking, you're not gonna be like, oh, what do I want to do? Oh, running and you can do both. Not if you're like, I can do both, then you can do both. But if you're deciding to choose between them, you know inside. You really know inside.
Do
yeah.
you
I feel
think like that instant feeling that you get? Because I was almost the opposite. Like the instant feeling I got was like to lift, and then when I thought about it, I was like, I'd be miserable without running. You know, I feel like you do have to apply some thought to it and like think like, what would my life be without this thing? I'm not saying that you didn't think it through, but
yeah,
I think it totally depends. It totally depends on the person, like how you think about it as well, because it's such a situational thing. I
yeah.
don't know.
For
It's
me, I'm
it's
just like
it's, it's a
telling like
very
from my experience because I don't know from like
yeah.
yeah.
And that's if anything, that's a harder thing to act on, that kind of gut reaction for you. So really, like, bravo. Like,
Nice.
I don't
Rainier,
know.
that's really interesting that you say that because I mean, the way I was thinking about it is, if you think about it too much, it's a bad thing. But
Mhm.
the truth is, that's not necessarily true. Like I can kind of see both ways. And it's just it once again kind
Yeah.
of brings about the point. Athletics and sport, it's so crazy how things like that can vary person to person and personality to personality.
Yeah. It's and like me and Iranian have different opinions, but that doesn't mean that one of us is wrong. It's just it's an opinion.
It's based
And
on
I'm just saying
you.
my opinion. I know I might be sound like I'm saying it as a fact, but I'm just
No,
sharing my
no.
opinion right now. And Iranios can have a totally different opinion. And that doesn't mean that one of them is wrong. Like I went my gut, he thought it out. He was like, would I really like that? Would I really like just lifting? Oh, I couldn't live without I don't think I could live without running. The thing I was like, I don't want to run. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
run. And that's when I was like, I don't want to run. And I actually haven't been running very consistently since I started
Mhm.
lifting, just because I'm trying to gain a
Yeah,
little
that
bit
makes
of
sense.
Yeah.
fat with that. And I don't feel the sadness that I thought was going to come And the fact that I feel like the fact that you were like, I'm gonna be sad, shows that the track was the right decision. Because I was like, I'm not gonna be sad. I think I'll be happy if I stop running. And I feel like that's the thing for both of us, that like you couldn't live without it. And I had to. I almost like felt like I had to stop, like take a little bit of a break from running. And I feel like that's like the big decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to add some nuance to it. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Just speaking of like lifting, obviously. What kind of like stuff are you doing? Like take us through like I guess like a week of like what you do. I don't know.
So I do pull push legs. So pull is going to be your lats, your back, your side back. Oh, back. Oh yeah, it's going to be your back, and then it's going to be your biceps, and then I do chest, triceps, all of that, and then I do legs.
Okay, cool.
But for a week, I can say some exercises. I mean, I really like incline dumbbell presses. I feel like that's a good way to build mass on your chest. I've already felt it. Because you don't want to do a lot of flat bench, and this is a big thing that you have to keep taking account, is that if you're doing these flat benches, it grows the lower chest, which can give you the illusion of having breasts, which is a big thing, which is why a lot of like I'm still a novice lifter. I'm thankful that I like learned this, but when you only do like these flat benches and do like very heavy weights, you're gonna get saggy. It's gonna sag and it's not gonna look as good. So I'm very thankful that early on I learned that, because now I'm able to switch my lifting. So that's like one piece of advice on lifting I really like tell my friends, who some of them started lifting too, some of them have been lifting, is make sure that you're implementing, like still do flat. Obviously, you want to build the lower and the upper, but you want to make sure you're doing those incline dumbbell presses, incline bench, all of that, so you build your upper chest as well as your lower chest. I don't know. That's one big piece of advice that I don't know.
No, yeah, no. I mean, it makes sense, but isn't
Yeah.
flat? It makes sense. Isn't flat though kind of your whole chest, whereas decline would be your lower chest?
That's what I thought. That's what I originally thought. But I watched multiple videos saying that when you do the flat, it doesn't target. It targets this a tiny bit, but you're mainly targeting this. And if you're not implementing the incline as well as the decline, like I fully support decline, not decline, sorry, flat. That's my bad.
Yeah.
Flat, if you're not implementing flat, you're not going to be building your lower chest as well, but you want to mainly build your upper chest, because that's going to give you more, not the illusion, that is going to give you, make it look like you have more mass on your chest than if you're just doing a flat bench.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
When I got into lifting, it was like,
were you just doing?
No, I was doing all kinds of chest, but chest was my favorite exercise by far.
No, it's so much fun.
It's so much fun.
Really? I was always an arm guy.
I
like doing arms.
You like the arms?
Oh
Yeah, anything
like
pull or anything
legs
pull and
worse.
anything not chest. Yeah, legs suck.
Gotcha.
No, legs. I did legs today, and I was running around because I had to like drive my brother to soccer or whatever. That's tough. Like you go up the stairs, it feels like your legs have like 5 pound, like they have like 10-pound weights on them. You're just like pulling up, just trying to like lift your legs.
I'm easing into lifting right now. So I did a very light, like not light, but short in time leg day today.
Yeah. Do you want me to like list any of my progress that I've made?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely.
So I was 155 over the summer, and now I weigh 170. I was repping 125, which is super low for a bench at the start. And now I do 150, which is still not a lot. I'm still novice, obviously, but
Well, okay, here's the
It's
deal.
still a gain.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, but that's still a lot. But it's just to show you how much, like, if you're thinking about getting into lifting, I would try to do it as soon as, unless you have a sport and you can't, try to get it as, even if it's like over the summer, try to get in the gym when you can get in the gym.
How long is the podcast?
It's almost on.
Okay,
I'll
but
be
you
on.
can't have this
All right.
long.
Let him know. All right. Yeah, but it's still progress, and it just shows you when you got to get in as soon as you can, because you don't want to be regretting it later, because the progress will come and you wait, and I especially recommend just taking like progress pictures, because I didn't do it at the start, but now I do it. And even like week by week, I take too many. You should be taking like one a month. I take too many. It's fine, but it's just good to see, because a lot of times you get used to your own body, so you don't see the progress. But to physically see it and see the changes, I think is so like, will keep you motivated. It will keep you motivated to keep going. And even if it's small changes, the fact that you can notice them that's what really kept me going. Because I'm like, oh, my chest is looking bigger, my arms are looking bigger, I'm going to keep going. And even though it's not where I want them to be at the end, I'm still so happy that I made that progress.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think, especially with lifting, because like you said, you get used to your own body, so it's hard to notice that progress. Whereas in other sports, especially, I'll use running for the example. If you set a PR, there's your progress right there. But
yeah, and you have bench, like you have PRs,
yeah,
and
you have
squat.
PRs with that.
Yeah.
But in terms of the aesthetic side of it, that motivating factor, it could really, it definitely, it just sounds like it can enhance the will to do it. You know what I mean? You see the progress, you want to do it more, and then it kind of just, it's a snowball effect. You just keep doing it, keep going. Actually, one thing I wanted to ask about is recovery. What do you do for recovery?
For recovery,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so good with that, but I stretch, especially after legs. I try to stretch my legs. I need to start stretching like other parts, but I need to stretch my legs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to warm up for legs, and I try to like cool down. I'm thinking about implementing like a short run after legs, just to like just like, I don't know, flush my legs out, because that's what I did for running. I'm like, might as well. I don't even know if it works, but I'm gonna do that. And I usually take one day off a week and basically do like nothing that day. It's on Sundays I usually take off. And besides that, I mean, I also go in like the sauna. I don't know, that helps my muscles loosen up a little bit.
Okay.
But besides that, I don't have much like recovery options besides like getting the sleep that you need. I haven't had any injuries though. I don't feel as if like a high amount of recovery is needed as much for lifting as I felt is needed for running, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all I'm going to say is the best thing you can probably do is be incredibly strong and incredibly flexible. So you have a good range of motion, but you're strong.
Yeah.
So stretching is probably. I mean, obviously there's so much more you can do, but if you're going to do anything, I would stretch.
Yeah. I would do definitely stretching. I need to implement that, because like we all slack in certain areas, and like even with running, like I feel like everyone slacks with stretching a little bit. I know not you guys, but like we all know that we should be doing a little bit more with stretching, but sometimes we don't. But you're so right. Like, it is so like important.
Yeah, because the truth is it takes a lot of time. So it's like, if you get the work done, you get the hard part done. So
and
then
you have to stretch.
Well, yeah. But what I was gonna say is, you get the hard part done, you get the actual workout done, and you're like, hey, I got my work in for today. I can go lay on the couch, lay on my bed, do whatever. But realistically, what you need to do is you need to go stretch for 20 minutes. But after those 20 minutes, you don't feel accomplished.
Yeah, you're like, why did I even do that? But over time, you'll feel yourself get more flexible
Yeah.
if you
Mhm.
stretch consistently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what I've done to like try and stretch more, because I don't do anything for PT really. I've started to, and I think that's the biggest factor in running, and I'm sure in lifting it's a huge factor, is I make a habit tracker of like what I do every day. So I have like whatever, like 13 habits that I track. I add a few every month. And that's kind of like my motivator to keep stretching, because when I see a red space for that day, I'm like, well, feel a little bit shitty. So then I do
Wait,
it the next day.
how do you do that?
I do on Google Sheets. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
But I basically just have, it's really OCD. I'll show you it. But yeah, I might post it on Head Start.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's I think that's a good way to motivate yourself. It's probably not a positive form of motivation, because the I'm motivated by not seeing red. But I think, doing anything helps with stretching. You want to get it in.
I think also
Yeah.
you can go Flockhart.
Yeah, I really do. I'm on like a consistent schedule where I sometimes switch out the exercises because I know other exercises, but I use the very consistent exercises and I make sure I at least get through them, even if I'm not doing the exact rep amount because I'm tired or something or I'm not feeling too good. I just make sure I try to get through all of it because I feel more like accomplished, just like finishing the list. Like you said, not seeing the red dot. I just feel so accomplished being like, oh, done with my workout. I did
Yeah.
every exercise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. I know what you
You
mean.
know what I mean? Yeah.
We have 4 minutes left, and I feel like we're always cutting these like off in like the last 30 seconds. So I'm not going to end it now. But what I am going to say is, does anybody have any last remarks they'd want to bring up or anything?
Do you guys have one more question that you want to ask?
We pretty much covered all of it. Rania, what do you think?
Oh, I forgot I was muted. Where are you going to college? You committed, you said.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm going to college at Geneseo.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Nice.
I'm in the teaching program.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
And
good school for
the
that,
gym
I
there
think.
is pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So I have that. I'm planning on doing the jazz band there, and I'm happy. I feel like
Get
I was
involved.
almost thinking if because at one point I actually did want to run in college, but then I was like, first of all, my times were not fast enough. But even on the club team, I was like, do I want to even though it's not a super big commitment, I'm like, do I want to be running every day or do I want to control my own workouts? And it almost felt more mature for me. For other people, having that consistency on the team feels more mature for them, but everyone matures in different ways and becomes an adult in different ways, and you have to respect that. And for me, being being able to control my own workouts felt more mature for me, but that's just personal. And I feel like that's the big theme of this, is that every decision you make is different for most people, and you can't be comparing yourself specifically to other people. You have to think about what's in your heart or what's in your brain or whatever you think is going to make the best decision for you. I feel like that's the theme of this.
I'm very happy we got to interview you and discover that theme, because that's what we're trying to do with this podcast, just capture everyone's fitness story, because they're all different, you know.
Yeah, and maybe maybe next year you'll see me. I'll be huge.
Yeah,
Be a
it'll be
huge
like
dude. Yeah, maybe
400-pound, completely shredded, no fat bodybuilder.
no fat. I feel like being 400 pounds is no fat. I would just
No fat.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're gonna
0%
need
body
SARMs for
fat.
that.
What's that?
Oh, I said you're gonna need SARMs for that.
Oh God. What is that?
No
Is that just
steroids.
steroids?
Steroids bad.
It's just
Steroids make you die
steroids?
early.
Yeah. Don't do steroids.
That's
Oh,
the actual theme.
okay, we got a minute and 20 seconds left. There's also a question. Is music still a driving factor in your life?
Yes. Though it's kind of I'm so busy all the time that's taking a little bit of a backseat, but I still try to keep it in my life. I don't play the guitar very well, but I try to do that. I still am in the band. And though I'm not crazy, it's just and running, lifting, these should all be stress relievers. And though you might get stressed before a race, overall, you shouldn't feel like these are giving you a ton of stress because these are for your benefit. And I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to look at fitness and just hobbies as a source of joy and not a source of
That's the
mental
only way to look at it.
stress. Yeah, it's that's incredible. And I'm really happy that you made the decision to do what's best for you. We got 25 seconds left. So I want to thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for calling, man. Really appreciate it.
All right.
All
man.
right. I appreciated being on here, boys.
Yep.
See you in the next episode. I won't, but they will.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.